6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, 50 degrees outside. We're pretty excited to be here. This is Tuesday, but it's my Friday. It's Shane's Friday.
Yeah, Terrible Tuesday became Friday. How cool is that?
Yeah, we're not going to be here Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We are going to be, as they say in the business, on assignment, doing very special things for the show, probably. So, or maybe, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm going out to check out the Biden campaign because I think it'll be gone before we get back.
That's true. Yeah. We're going to send Shane after Biden, and I don't know. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. So anyway, we'll have fun. But the thing you need to know, though, is that in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets on the phone to 2 lucky callers, or a lucky caller. We'll get 2 seats, I should say. And also, you have till the end of the show to be an app chat winner. So if you've got the AM 1450 KMMS app, you need to click on the app chat button right next to the listen button and send us the words field goal, FIELDGOAL, field goal. 1 word or 2 words, we don't care.
And Mike McCormick is in the house for you money lovers, so get ready for that.
And at 7 o'clock, we'll be talking with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. They've got the Bowl-a-rama, Bowl-a-thon, bowl for kids, bowl for something coming up, and we're going to talk with them at 7 o'clock. Mike McCormick will be here at 8, and we'll have some fun with Mike, and as we always do, and we'll take your calls, questions, and whatever. So, weather, Shane, we've got some.
It's that time of day.
Yeah. Well, today it's going to be partly sunny, but we're only going to get a high of 66 today. 66 degrees. It's 50 right now. I mean, that's hardly worth talking about. And we're going to get wind chills up to, we're going to get winds as high as 40 miles an hour, so that's going to be about 50 if you're out walking around in it. So I don't know. This winter's coming a little too quick. You know, we just had fall, the first day of fall 3 days ago. So
I know we didn't mention it. So happy fall, Tom.
Well, it was on the weekend. That's why.
Yeah,
I think we didn't. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. We forgot.
Yes. No, it was on the weekend.
Yeah, it was on the weekend. Yes, it was. Yeah, because today's 24th. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was on the weekend. So we're excused this time.
We're excused.
Yeah. Okay. We won't miss winter on the 21st of.
Well, I'm going to miss winter. I'm going to completely miss it.
Well, yeah. Well, tonight, partly cloudy, low around 45. Again, winds are going to be up to in the 30s and 40s tonight, so it's going to be pretty breezy out there. Wednesday, however, sunny. Again, high of only 66. Light west, southwest winds, 5 to 10 miles an hour, but they could gust as high as 20. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a low around 44, light winds again, and Thursday night, rain is likely on Thursday night, mainly afternoon, partly sunny with a high near 67, and again, we're going to get those wind gusts, chance of precip on Thursday during the day, 60%. Thursday night, rain likely, mostly before midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 42, and the precip is 60% for Thursday night. Friday, you got a 50% chance of rain, partly sunny, high of only 58. Wow, that's going to be nice and cool on your Friday. And then Friday night, rain likely, mostly cloudy with a low around 38. So you could be getting some snow in there. It could be rain and snow mixed together with those temperatures. Saturday, rain, mostly cloudy with a high near 47. And Saturday night, a rain before midnight, then rain and snow between midnight and 3 a.m. when snow, then snow after 3 a.m. So you might wake up on Sunday morning to a little snow. And on Sunday morning, rain and snow likely, cloudy with a high of only 37, Shane. 37.
There you go,
there goes your petunias.
Yeah, that's right.
Those babies are history. They are done for. Don't even think about it. Temperatures around the area right now, Livingston is 60 degrees over there. I can't believe they're 60 degrees. Manhattan's 57, Three Forks is 60, Gallatin Gateway 54, Ennis is 57, Big Sky is 49, and at the airport in Belgrade is 55. Right now we're right at 50 here in our lavishly appointed studios in downtown Bozeman, as we always are. Our poll question of the day, let's bring that up to date here. Do you like the morning Soapbox bumper music, the music we play between breaks and our opening and all of that stuff? So
there were so many choices to make. I didn't. I just made one.
Okay, well that's okay. Choices are yes, a fine selection of songs. No, you need to get up to speed with new music. I like the songs, hate the opening. I like the opening, hate the songs. Why do we even need music? It's a talk station. And Tom and Shane are great. Leave them alone. And undecided. So that's our choices. So if you're undecided, right now, yes, a fine selection of songs is in the lead, but it's still early voting. 66% think it's a fine selection of songs. 33% say Tom and Shane are great, leave them alone, and that's the only ones that we have at the moment. So it's still early voting. Yesterday's poll: liquid soap, liquid body soap, or bar soap. I've always been a fan of bars. 40%. 30% like liquid for sure. 23% say they use both. And 3% said, who needs soap? And another 3% said shampoo. So they just use their shampoo for their body soap. So, all right. Well, at least we have a clean group, except for that 3%. So 97% of our listeners are clean, I guess.
Washed up and all.
I guess that's a good thing. So, all right. Let's see. On this day in history, 1755, John Marshall, the fourth Chief Justice of the United States, was born in Germantown, Virginia. John Marshall, the fourth Chief Justice. We had four.
Really? Yeah,
by then.
He was the fourth.
I mean, it's 1755, 1776 isn't even here yet. We got chief justices already in the Supreme Court. How'd that happen?
Well, no, that's when he was born, but he lived to 1835, 89.
Yeah.
He was the fourth chief justice after being Secretary of State under President Adams. He remains the longest-serving chief justice, fourth longest-serving justice in the Supreme Court. And it's interesting because John Jay, being the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was relegated to not a lot of cases because they hadn't really come up. And so he was primarily involved with piracy at sea, but not Mr. Marshall. The Marshall Court took up Marbury versus Madison. I'm just going to mention a couple of major cases because they're important. This established the principle of judicial review in the United States, meaning that the courts had final say on striking down laws and statutes that had been established by the U.S. Congress or House. He also, Fletcher versus Peck, which was states' rights, which was an important one, and College versus Woodrow, which was our academia and the United States and the United States government under contract clause. Mm-hmm. And so he put the academia principally right under the U.S. government under contract clause. And then, of course, McCulloch and Maryland, that this was the state legislatures and what the powers of the judiciary and particularly the Supreme Court had over state legislatures. Final two others I won't mention, but just their names: Martin versus Hunter Lassay Cohen's in Virginia, both establishing precedent about the power of the court itself in regards to your Bill of Rights.
All right. Well, in 1789, Congress passed the first Judiciary Act, which provided for an attorney general and a Supreme Court. So they got rocking and rolling pretty early then.
And as I said, the first federal courts established under this act were regarding trade at seas and piracy. Isn't that amazing that that's what they would worry about?
I know, yeah.
Anyway, under Article 2 and Section 3 of your Constitution, it provides for a Supreme Court. So they did. They set up the courts. Originally, there are 5 courts set up in the 13 colonies, and it worked. It's worked incredibly well as they've added to the lower courts, because it's not just the 9 judges on the Supreme Court. It's all the federal judges below them that are lifetime appointments as well. And as we've discussed, there's 642, I believe, in your country. So, President Trump's working his way through it. He's up to 170, I believe, now.
Something like that. Pretty darn close to it anyway. So,
he gets to 200. That's a huge change. Yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break here because folks are wondering what's going on in Montana News and Agriculture, Headwaters Livestock. The fine folks at Wesley Financial help you get you out your timeshare, and Buffalo Restoration. Ben and the fine folks over at Buffalo Restoration want to talk to you. So we'll be right back after News in Agriculture coming up right now. If I can find the button. There it is. All right. We'll be right back. 24 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, September 24, 2019, 49 degrees outside. We're only looking for a high of 66 today. Wow. I don't know. That's cool. That's going to be cool, Shane.
Cool? You mean literally or figuratively?
Well, we're going to have a high of 37 later on in the week. That's I'm ready. I'm ready to light the fireplace and start shoveling snow. How about you?
I think it's just genuine. Yeah.
Well, I've always said, living here as long as I have, 26 years, I'm not a native. I should have been a native. If my parents were still alive, I'd slap them for not being in Montana when I was born, because I truly need to be here. I don't know how long you have to be here to be an actual Montanan, but I'm working on it. I'm trying really hard, So, but I think the weather here, it's not so bad because we didn't have the 90 degrees and all the stuff we usually get, the 90s and 100s that people are saying, hey, man, I'm ready for winter. But it seems like the seasons are just long enough. When you get sick of the snow and everything, it starts melting and, we start getting warmer weather. And then when you get sick of the 90s and everything, then we're back to snow and skiing and outdoor stuff and fun and whatever.
Now with it being so arid there in Montana, did you put a bucket of water in front of your air conditioning to get some, moisture in the air?
Well, we don't have air conditioning. It's not worth it to us to
so
have
do you
it.
Put a block of ice in front of your fan?
No, we don't. No, we don't. We just open the windows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, updated news alert from NASA.
Yeah.
They want a space telescope, and it's important because they want to build one to protect the planet from dangerous asteroid. So Here we go. Space Force's first announcement is a brand new satellite telescope, right? With infrared light, maybe a beam.
Yeah.
Worth $150 million. They announced it last week. So they're going to launch that and put it in the sky to protect the planet from asteroids. Ha, ha, ha.
Well, we have a caller that wants to protect the planet, probably. So
all right.
Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. 522-8255. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Yeah, Tom and Shane. This is Bob.
Hey.
I have to give you the adage for the day. It was given to me by my grandson. And that is, if I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong.
That's right.
So this is one of those calls.
Okay.
I need to refer back to Friday. I couldn't get to you yesterday.
Yeah.
And that is when you said that they used the word repo for repurchase agreements in the Fed. Shane, you did this?
Oh, we were talking about, that's the anagram they use in the newspaper articles, yeah.
Okay, I spent a few years in the banking, and the repo is when you repossess something. These were actually just called repurchase. And I'm afraid a lot of people get wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay, that's why I'm saying that people are changing our nomenclature to such a point they aren't speaking English anymore. They're speaking gibberish. It's not what has any meaning.
Everything's abbreviated because of texting, right? And,
yeah.
You know, and Twitter, like laugh out loud, LOL.
Yeah,
like
right.
really?
Yeah.
Well, that's why they can't talk to us either.
That's exactly why. Yeah.
They need spell correctors so that they know what word they're using correctly.
That's true.
But you did have one very true statement. You guys are on the air because you're entertaining.
Oh.
I don't know if you listened. I don't know if you listened to Levin last night, but even though I agree with a lot of his thoughts, he is one of the most boring men I have ever listened to, other than Trump.
He can be.
But to you, Tom, this is where I'll disagree with you today.
Okay.
You're talking about having all this. You're ready for winter. You don't have a garden, do you?
No, I don't have a garden.
Okay.
Mine's called my garden's called Rosauers.
Well, that's what I thought, because those of us who actually raise our own food,
right?
Yeah,
for the betterment of the climate changes.
I don't know.
Our tomatoes are not off the vine yet. In fact, they're just starting to ripen. So now I'm going to have to pull all of my vines this week because of that 35 and 31.
That 37's coming. Yeah. Well, we do have a miniature tomato plant on our porch, and I got to go, Bob. I'm sorry, I'm up against the clock. Thanks for the call.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. All right. All right, we got to go. We'll be right back after the news. All right, it's, 25 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, 49 degrees outside, looking for a high of only 66 today, but sunny, so should be a pretty nice day. On this date in history, 1869, financiers Jay Gould and James Fisk tried to corner the gold market, sending Wall Street into a panic and leaving thousands of investors in financial ruin, Shane.
Yeah, we talked about this specifically last week. They were partners. They cornered the gold market, drove it to $151, which would be the equivalent of about $15,000 today. Yeah. The importance of what we'll mention today about Black Friday in September 24th, 1869, wasn't much of a market, but it was pretty much a commodities market. But it was a setup for what ended up being a depression that started in 1872 under Grant because of all the scandal and everything. And by the way, bet you didn't know this. I didn't. President Grant was the first president to be discovered. They actually questioned him. Isn't that amazing?
To be discovered?
Yeah, in a scandal by lawyers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was the first one to be suspected of a crime.
And sat down and in discoveries and answered questions.
Okay.
Remember, we've heard that, presidents don't have to do it. Well, there's a precedent for presidents to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't remember. I don't know, Shane, has in our lifetime, and I've been through 13 presidents, I think 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a president testify to Congress?
No.
Not that I'm aware of. I think that would be world news.
It would be, and the reason they don't, because the Constitution specifies the separation
of powers. Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't think I know a lot of people have wanted to come in and testify.
That's right. But, of course they would.
Not a chance, but. Well, let's see. 1869, F. Scott Fitzgerald was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, a big writer of the day. Wrote many books that were made into movies and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The Great Gatsby, The Beautiful and the Damned, This Side of Paradise, The Last Tycoon. I mean, Tender is the Night. Phenomenal guy. Took him a time. It took him. His first novel was so successful. Actually, it took him several years. He had that what do you call it, where writer's
block.
Writer's block. You know, and he was always looking for a muse to help him. Yeah, right. With money, you can find all the muses you want.
I was going to say, yeah, they'll be lined up around the block for that job. Yeah. Well, in 1957, the Brooklyn Dodgers played their last game at Ebbets Field before moving to Los Angeles for the next season. And they may be in the World Series again. They're pretty good this year.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those amazing places. Amazing thing about the field, it was first built in 1913 to hold 18,000.
Yeah.
And by the time it closed in 1957, they'd added on, it had grown it to 34,219.
Wow. Yeah.
So, they doubled it.
Yeah, they're now in Chavez Ravine in
Yeah. I like the way you say that.
Chavez Ravine. Yeah, they're in a ditch out in Los Angeles. Well, on this date in 1968, 60 Minutes premiered on CBS, and I remember on one of my trips, I was sitting in the airport, and this guy came over and set his briefcase down on the seat next to me, or a couple seats away from me, checking his phone. It was Steve Croft of 60 Minutes, yeah. And I felt like saying, I don't know how you found me, but I can't talk, and left. I thought I should do that, but I didn't.
It's amazing. Because you have no idea who you're going to sit down.
That's true. Yeah. Well, you see all kinds of people at airports, and that's my claim to fame. And one of my trips, the elevator door opens, and there's Miss Teen Montana standing there with her sash on and everything. Okay, well, this is good.
Yeah, riding a plane is like having family. You can't choose your friends, you can't choose family.
That's right.
Or you can't choose your neighbors, and you can't choose family.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I've been pretty lucky. I haven't sat next to too many idiots or jerks or whatever on planes. So I guess I should be thankful for that. Maybe I'm due. Well, in 1976, we talked about this the other day. Newspaper heiress Patricia Hearst was sentenced to 7 years in prison for her part in a 1974 bank robbery, and that was just this past week, I guess, back in '74. But the 2 years later, she was grabbed and was kidnapped by the Simonese Liberation Army back then, a black group, and kept
65 this year, yeah. So still alive.
Still hanging in there, yeah.
Still enjoying the Hearst, the Hearst inheritance, so why not?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, in 1991, the album Nevermind by Nirvana was released. Or is that Nirvana?
Nirvana.
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 Yeah, I know it's Nirvana.
You're the music man, Rock.
What's his name? What's his name? Kurt killed himself at 27, I think. Another member
of your list.
Yeah, another member of the 27 Club, Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. Grunge band from Washington, I believe, or Oregon, or somewhere up there.
That's right, Washington, Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, somewhere up there. And history repeats itself. In 2007, United Auto Workers walked off the job at GM plants in the first nationwide strike during auto contract negotiations since 1976. And a tentative pact ended the walkout 2 days later. Right now, the UAW has walked off GM plants for a week or so.
52,000, yep.
Yeah. And doesn't look like anytime soon they're going to make any kind of a deal.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because, when Truman was president and there was a strike of this nature, he'd go settle it. He'd go say, Truman would
take his cane and smack everybody on the knuckles and say, "Get this done, guys. This is not. This isn't it." Yeah.
That's right. Straw hat and let's go. Come on, let's go. Depending on the time of year.
Yeah, we need a guy like him again.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. He
was a cool dude. All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be back in 1 minute. Stay tuned. 16 minutes for the top of the hour. Hey, don't forget, you've got till the end of the show to enter the App Chat contest to win 2 tickets to Saturday's game against Northern Arizona, and it's Military Appreciation Day. All you have to do is text a field goal to us, field goal with your App Chat, and you'll be entered in the drawing. And we're also going to give away 2 tickets by phone this morning during the 7 o'clock hour, coming up in about 15 minutes or so. So that will be it. The App Chat is going to end at the end of the show. So you got till the end of the show at 9 o'clock to get your App Chat field goal in there and be in the drawing for the 2 tickets. And we'll give the winner a call after the show when we computer picks out a name, and we'll get that over. We'll get that done. Yeah. Well, in birthdays, not much in the way of birthdays today. We already mentioned F. Scott Fitzgerald, and the only one other notable I can see, Shane, is Jim Henson, born on this date in 1936, died at 53, creator of the Muppets and Kermit the Frog and all the folks over there at Sesame Street and whatever. Great guy. Got a infection that just took over and killed him at age 53. So,
a brain infection.
A big loss to the entertainment industry with him. Pioneer in puppeteering and all of that, and became worldwide claim to fame. So good.
That's right. He picked it up as a kid when he went to Indonesia, which they have classical puppeteering there.
Mm-hmm.
And puppeteering to create shadows on the wall and stuff. Which you do with your grandkids now.
That's true. Yeah, you get the barking dog and the duck. And,
with your hands.
Everybody can do that. Well, in local news, Montana State University's scientists and professors have set a new research spending record of $138 million, Shane, for work on everything from fighting agricultural pests to creating computers that can help explore the moon.
So you now know academia can spend money as easily as government. That's impressive.
Wow. The $138 million spent in the year ending June 30th is a 9.5% increase over last year's $126 million, and it surpasses the previous record set in 2017 of $130.8 million, and marks the 6th year in a row that MSU has exceeded $100 million. So
now, wouldn't you like to know how much of that was salaries?
Well, I bet a lot of it was, certainly.
Yeah, of course it was.
I was going to say, yeah, it ain't all heat and lights and
test tubes.
Yeah, not all heat and light and test tubes, that's for sure. Well, good for them. MSU has gained in status in Carnegie rankings as one of only 131 universities nationwide with very high research activity. So, good for them.
Yeah, and good for the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, also,
I'll bet it's bigger than Missoula.
I don't know.
I had to throw it in. Come on.
Most of Missoula's in jail, I think. I'm not sure what they're up to up there, but at least a football team is.
Yeah, that's constant. They always seem to have that issue, don't they?
Yeah. Well, one of the state's most trafficked recreation areas, this is surprising to me. You'd think it would be, well, I'm sure it's probably Glacier. It's one of the most traveled recreation areas, Hyalite Canyon, which we've all been to. I've even been to Hyalite Canyon. Jeez, I know.
No,
wow. I know. Yeah, I've been to the waterfall and everything. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, you Googled it to see what was the most popular spot in Montana.
There wasn't a Google when we went there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There wasn't an internet when we went there.
I'm trying to give you cover there, Eagle Man.
I appreciate it, but not needed. Well, anyway, in June, a total of 22,000 vehicles visited the canyon. The total climbed to 27,000 in July and then dipped to 25,000 in August, according to a magnetic counter that they've installed there to count the cars coming in. And September's projected to have about 24,000 visitors. On Labor Day alone, 200 vehicles entered the canyon every hour. 200 vehicles per hour.
Sounds like a traffic jam.
That would sound like parking would be an issue, but
Yeah.
these numbers come from data that Friends of Hyalite, a local nonprofit, began collecting in previous years. Friends of Hyalite periodically recorded visitor data, but started to do so more consistently in recent months at the request of the U.S. Forest Service, and so that's pretty good. Yeah, it's Yeah, they've installed magnetic counters at a handful of places in the canyon, including near Langer Campground and Hyalite Reservoir, to help understand which areas visitors use most frequently. And data collected so far shows Hyalite Reservoir is a top destination. So.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 12 million people visit your state every year, right? That's a staggering.
Well, at least that many, yeah, I would think so.
Well, that's a staggering 12.
Yeah,
that's 1 million people a month.
Well, they come in here long enough that it takes to get to Wyoming and Yellowstone Park
and Glacier Park. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they might go to Glacier too. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah.
I think Yellowstone Park's our claim to fame here anyway.
I know, but going to the Sun Highway, baby, that's an experience.
That is an experience. I got to do that one of these days.
It's a remarkable thing. Wow.
Yeah. Well, every time we think about it, it's covered in snow. So we.
Well, don't take your camper. Just take a car. It's not a wide road.
Okay. All right. I'm sure they've widened it since you were on it.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's cut right in the side of the mountain. It's only like 10 or 12 feet wide. It's not very wide.
Okay. So you don't want to be a camper meeting a camper.
No.
All right.
I mean, you can pass, but
yeah.
Wow. That's
if you take your life in your hands.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be back in 1 minute. Rich's Flooring and Optima Tax Relief want to chat with you. We'll be right back. 7 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, 49 degrees outside. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor, Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia, on the line with me. And, boy, we're going to be talking with the big brothers and big sisters. And I have a very nice lady who is doing that. Their theme this year is the prom, and she came in her prom outfit. And we'll have to get some photos for before we're done here. So very nice outfit. A sort of a teal green. What is that outfit? Yeah, that's pretty good. So, and we'll be chatting with them coming up at 7 o'clock. So stay with us for that. So should be a good time. Well, a group has asked the city to adopt the Women's Bill of Rights, Shane. They are looking for that the problems women face in Montana and I guess in Bozeman, they're looking for equal pay, of course, lack of child care facilities, domestic violence, all of those things that we wish weren't part of our community, but they are. And so they called for the city commission to adopt the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and to create a task force to come up with an action plan for local solutions. So we'll have to talk with Jeff when we get back and see what he thinks on that.
What are we doing here? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So we hope that they will adopt that because obviously that's something that has been unaddressed for way too long. The group is putting out a voter guide for the November City Commission election when votes will be held for mayor and one commissioner seat. They'll also hold candidates forums on October 30th at MSU and the Procrastinator Theater. And the group went to the city commission in May of 2018 seeking support for the Women's Bill of Rights, and the commission had earlier adopted an equal pay resolution for city employees and a controversial non-discrimination ordinance protecting city residents no matter their gender identity. But even with a large turnout of supporters and endorsement from the Gallatin Valley Interfaith Association and 1,700 people or petition signatures, the mayor and commissioners have declined to take up the resolution, at least at this time. So the supporters have been gathering data to show the problem women face in Bozeman and Montana. They combined through more than 40 reports, from annual police reports to health, labor, and domestic violence reports, to complete data on the barriers women here face.
There you are.
And yeah, well, that's an issue that's been around for a long time.
Oh yeah,
unfortunately,
sure.
and Montana, I think, is no different than anywhere else. We have our share of bad actors that don't pay well, or don't
play well with others.
Yeah, or didn't learn how to take care of the ladies when they were maybe mom and dad didn't raise them as as well as they could have. But I don't know. It seems wrong that there even needs to be the groups like this. You would
It's sad,
think,
yeah.
You would think. The other thing too, I think, we have so many transplants here that, growing up like I did in the Midwest, growing up in a small town of like about the size of Livingston, and everybody knew your parents. So if you did anything stupid, they would tell your parents, and your parents would beat the hell out of you.
Yeah,
So to speak. And we learned to respect people. And of course, my parents had a business, and I was involved in that, and they taught me pretty early that it's yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. To respect people, and to not judge folks by how they looked or who they were, but everybody on an equal playing field. So. See, when I stop, you talk.
I know you. I was just trying to think that that's a great thing that your parents did. Of course, you want your parents to teach you the right and wrong, and they only happen until you're 6 years old. Because after that, baby, you're gone.
Yeah. Let's see, from our text line 478-8298. When we were all alive and fine in 12 years and even 100 years beyond, we can bring a lawsuit against the left. After all, isn't what they're doing regarding climate change like yelling fire in a crowded movie theater when they absolutely know there is no fire? Question for Shane. Has the influx of new people we've witnessed in the U.S. crossed over into Canada?
To some degree, but not. Of course, everything that you guys do is like 10% here, right?
Well, I was going to say that you aren't folks asked. You almost have an open border going north, don't you? I mean,
from between you and us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Trudeau just says, "Come on in," doesn't he?
It's the longest open border in the world.
Well, I know it is, but doesn't he just kind of say, "Hey, we're, all everybody's welcome here"?
No, we have a second nation treaty where,
you have to ask for asylum here first, and then
no, if you come to the U.S. to Canada, you got to go back, and if you come to Canada, go to the U.S., you got to come back to Canada.
Oh, okay.
It's the same treaty that Trump's putting together with Central America and Mexico.
All right. Call it real quick. You got about 50 seconds. Go for it.
Yes. Well, good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I got a good story for you.
Okay, real quick.
I was a young boy, and I was walking through the neighborhood, and I saw a fifth wheel. And, grease. So I started playing with it. Well, in my neighborhood, there were cinder bricks. I put my handprints on the cinder bricks. I got home, and my father took me into his bedroom, and he says, I have eyes everywhere. Here's a scrub brush. Here's a bucket. Go get that grease off that man's fist, and you get your butt back in my room. and I did so. I never did it again.
All right. Great story. Thanks a lot. All right. All right. We got a duck header, and we'll be right back. We've got to talk with big brothers and big sisters when we come back, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. 40 degrees outside, 48 degrees, actually. We're looking for a high of only 66 today. Wow. In studio, I want to welcome Michaela Krosky, and she's the Events 8 Communication Manager for the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and we want to welcome you to our microphones. Nice to have you.
Yeah.
And Michaela is in her prom dress.
Yes, ma'am.
And got the hair done. We've got the gloves on. We've got the corsage on the wrist. We've got the whole 9 yards here, the bracelet, and we got the nice teal dress. And
yeah, it's been a long morning.
I was going to say, when did you start getting dressed for this?
This is my costume for the month of October for Bowl for Kids' Sake. So.
Yeah, the Bowl for Kids' Sakes, we're going to talk about it in just a minute, but the theme is prom. So people, the kids that are going to be bowling, they're going to be bowling in prom dresses and tuxedos.
Well, it's not just kids, it's anyone. So you could come too.
Well,
you got a tux?
Well, not one that fits anymore, but
you got to dig it out.
Yeah, I'll let it out. We'll find out. Well, let's learn a little bit about you, Michaela. Are you a transplant? Are you a native? What are you?
I am very native.
Okay, good.
I grew up here. I was born in Butte.
Okay.
I previously was a teacher and just resigned from that last year just to learn a little bit more about the nonprofit world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm working for Big Brothers Big Sisters as their events and communications managers so that I can sort of learn what it's like to fundraise and support such an important part of our community. Big Brothers Big Sisters is all about mentorship. And so that's what we seek to find mentors for kids who might not otherwise have access to one. And then we support those matches through professional calls and just make sure everything's
kosher. This is like a once a week thing you get together with for an hour or two or whatever.
Exactly. Yes. It's a once a week commitment. For an hour is all we require. And bigs and littles are matched for 18 months or more. And they just kind of create that relationship of support and creates a nice foundation for the little one. So yeah.
No, it's been around for a long time. I'm not sure how long Big Brothers and Big Sisters have been in Montana or been in Bozeman, rather.
We've been in Bozeman since the 70s. So it is a long-standing program, and nationally it's back into the early 1900s.
Right, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we talked with someone else here recently about this, and they were saying that the matching is very important. That some people are comfortable with younger kids, some people are comfortable with older kids.
And it's what the child wants too. So
sure, yeah. There's got to be if they like to play video games, and maybe we pair them up with somebody that likes to do that.
Exactly. We're looking for people that are like a natural fit. So when a big walks in the door, we interview them. We see what they can bring to the table. We interview the little, and then we have match specialists to make sure that it's really a good fit. And then we provide phone calls and check-ins just to make sure everything's going well, which you don't normally get out in the wild. So, yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, good. Yeah. You're going to have a fundraiser where teams of people can get together. Now, do the teams, are they expected to dress as prom?
They are. That's the whole point. Last year was pirates. This year we went with prom.
Yeah.
So teams from the community, whether they're corporately sponsored by businesses or they're just great people in the community who rally together, form a bowling team, and commit to raising $100 per bowler. So we all come together every Friday from 4 to 6 in the month of October, and we bowl and we have a good time. We've got food. It's obviously prom themed. We're going to have the disco ball out and just party it up.
DJ and the music and the whole thing. All right.
The whole thing. We're going to have some throwbacks in there.
Sounds like a deal. So, now you're also looking for volunteers to
Always.
help with this, obviously, and some of these people who get on these teams may be potential volunteers.
Yes, I hope to snag them right into our program.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yep.
Okay.
So in the month of October, we're also doing 30 bigs in 30 days because we have over 35 littles waiting to be matched with a big, and a lot of them are boys. And so we're looking for 30 bigs, a little emphasis on the male relationship, just because that's what we've got waiting currently. And we'd like to make those matches before the end of 2019.
Sure. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. And this is going to be every Friday during October, 4 to 6 p.m. And team registration, go to bbbs-gc, Gallatin County, at .org, bbbs-gc.org. And you can sign up there. I guess registration information is there.
Just go to the events tab and follow along.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the other things, I guess, we need to talk about. Most of this takes place in school. Is that right? During school hours, or do you go other places? I mean, do you go to ball games?
Absolutely,
or things like that. So they might take them to a football game or basketball game or something like that. Or
we're gonna have a tailgate coming up here on the 28th, and so Buffalo Restoration was nice enough to throw a tailgate for us. So that's something that bigs and littles could come to.
One of our fine sponsors here.
One of our
KMMS.
They're just great friends of ours. And maybe they would go ice skating in the winter or skiing or anything that they would like to do together. And it's just an hour commitment. But if, lots of our matches go over that, if they're doing something special. The CAP mentorship program, that's a Thrive program. And that's the one that's mostly in schools. So this provides a little more flexibility for people that can't, that work, they can't meet during school hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Once again, we're talking with Michaela Krosky. I'm going to get it in a minute. And she's the Events 8 Communication Manager, and we're talking about Bowl for Kids' Sake. And this is going to take place every Friday in October, 4 to 6 p.m. Team registration is at bbbs-gc.org, bbbs-gc.org. And if you want to get involved, all you have to do is get your prom outfit out and go for it.
Exactly.
Sounds good. So, how long have you been with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters?
Less than a year. Okay. So I started helping out last January, and then I when my school year was over, I joined full time. So since June, really.
Okay. Where were you teaching before?
I was teaching out at Anderson School, and then I also taught
the little bitty one.
The little bitty one, yeah. That's the way I like it. I also taught in Big Sky at that little bitty one too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how was it growing up in Butte?
Oh, I didn't grow up there. I was born there, and I was shipped here 3 days later.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't tell you.
I was going to say, well, good. I was going to feel sorry for you.
I know, right? No, luckily grew up here, Four Corners specifically. I went to Montfortin School.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually was a big back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So they had
you have the experience to advise people if need be. So,
Yep, I do.
Yeah. What was the experience like for you? What kind of kid did you get? What kind of little did you get?
So before Montfortin was sort of like it grew exponentially. We had a program with them that was called Mentors for Montfortin. And so when I was a high school student, I mentored a 4th grader, and we would get together once a week. We'd have lunch, we'd play games. Her name was Naya. And sometimes we would do group activities, sometimes just have conversations. And I could tell it was sort of like a highlight of her day is just, kind of getting to get out of class, have someone special come hang out with you. So it was a really good experience.
Did she have other siblings? Did she have a sister?
She did not. So I think.
So you were a sister she could talk to. And kind of share that what mom and dad just don't understand me. And
mom and dad. You can't always share everything with mom and dad.
That's true. Well, particularly not in the 4th grade.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wondering, I don't know about this growing up thing.
Yeah, right. It's a great time to be supported through that. Did you have a mentor growing up? organically or
Not
otherwise?
really, no.
Do you think that would have helped?
Yeah, I think it would. It would have helped me, I think, because my older brother and sister were quite a bit older than I was, and we weren't really, they were off to college by the time I was in 4th or 5th grade, I think. So
Yeah, so you needed
so I was kind of an only child. I was in scouts and things
Right.
like that, and played sports in school. And but yeah, other than the kids in the neighborhood that we played softball with, that was the mentors.
Right, and I
guess
feel like
I had growing up. So yeah, it
you
would have been
had
interesting
that.
to have somebody.
yeah, less and less kids
yeah.
have outlets, places to make real relationships. Everything's sort of, virtual, or they just
Yeah.
have trouble finding an older person to kind of confide in, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I was born young. I was a college freshman at 17.
Oh,
So
yeah, you were.
yeah, so that was a big transition for me. Hey, let's go drinking. Okay, sure. Why are you buying?
Yeah, I had a mentor that wasn't, through a program, but there was a lot of that too, where it was just someone else to check in on you, someone else to say, hey, how's it going? What have you been up to?
Yeah. All right. Well, we're running out of time here, so I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for your dedication to a great cause, I think. And again, Michaela Krosky, she's the Event 8 Communication Manager, Bowl for Kids' Sake. And every Friday in October, 4 to 6 p.m., they're going to have teams. And you can join.
Yes, we're looking for more teams.
Yeah.
We've got more room.
Get a team together and get some folks to sponsor your team for the fundraiser for
Exactly.
this. And you can get all the information you need at BBBS, 3 B's, BBBS hyphen GC, Gallatin County, .org, BBBS hyphen GC.org. So thanks, Michaela. Great meeting you. And
Yeah, you too.
we wish you the best of luck. And
Thank you so
hope
much.
the fundraiser is successful. And thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Have
All
a
right.
great morning.
All right. We'll be right back right after this. 20 minutes. It is 20 minutes after the hour. Get the music to go away. All right. Hey, we had a great time talking with Michaela Krosky. I don't know why I have a hard time with that name. It's not hard. But she was a very nice young lady. And we'll put this interview up on our website with her picture so you can see her in her prom regalia. And she's a very attractive young lady, and we're happy to have her in here. And this is a great cause. And again, every Friday in October, they are doing the Bowl for Kids' Sake. So get a team together and go to BBBS.gc.org. BBBS, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, hyphen Gallatin County, GC.org. So get over there and get a team together, and you will be expected to bowl in prom finery. So you'll be bowling in tuxes and stuff like that. Shane, what do you think? Well, luckily it's 20 minutes after the hour, so I've only got about 6 or 7 minutes here to fill the air without you. So I'm not sure why you're not on, why your volume isn't there, but I can't hear you. Let me see if I can hear you on the phone. I'll put you on the phone.
Oh, you can hear me on the phone now?
I can hear you on the phone, but I can't hear you on the Skype.
On the Skypester. Wow.
Yeah, I can't hear you. So not
Well,
sure.
let me check here.
Not sure what's up with that. So
Can you hear me now?
that's better. I can hear you now.
There you go.
You must have muted yourself.
I did during the interview, yes.
Oh, well, you should do that when you cough.
Okay.
All right. From our text line. Oh, let's see. You may be right, Tom. Back in the day when you did something wrong, your father would take you to the woodshed. White people back then grew up with more respect, morals, and integrity. This is a mystery that plagues today's psychologists and social analysts because they are completely opposed to corporal punishment, and darn it, they know everything. LOL. That they do.
So true.
Propagation in Britain soon. Okay. I have no clue what that means.
No clue.
No clue at all. I heard there were people from all over our state that traveled to Helena for the climate strike hoax, including California native Kathleen Williams. I'm curious how she traveled to Helena. I wonder how she got there. So.
Well, a gaggle of ducks carried her.
I probably did. There you are. All right. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, fine gentlemen. It's Steve.
Hey, Steve.
So earlier you were talking about there's some push for the women's civil rights thing, or is submitted to the city council.
Yeah. This city commission, they are looking, let's see, let me pull a story up here. Groups ask city to adopt Women's Bill of Rights.
Okay. So back in the 60s, we adopted this thing we went through this thing called the Civil Rights Movement.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of legislation regarding that, correct?
I think there is, several civil rights acts, as a matter of fact, about 4 of them.
Yeah, that was roughly 50 years ago, give or take, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, if I understand it correctly, the Democrat Party tells me every single day that racism and anti-civil rights is so prevalent in our society now. It's almost like this 50-year-old legislation didn't do anything for our society.
Well, we need to improve. We need to improve it. We need another Civil Rights Act really bad.
Well, what I think about, Tom, is if our civil rights movement of the 60s to make race an equal thing hasn't had any effect after 50 years, as I'm told by the Democrats, then what good will women's civil rights do, especially at the city level?
Mm-hmm.
One, it's practically unenforceable, and two, well, we know that civil rights movement didn't do anything. What's the women's rights movement going to do?
Yeah. Well, the mayor and commissioner declined to take up this resolution because they've already imposed equal pay for women in government here, city government. So
did you just say the city did something that made sense?
Yeah, I know. I thought maybe it might be a typo, but I had to read it 2 or 3 times. Maybe when Jeff Krause gets in here next Tuesday, we'll have to ask him what were you guys thinking anyway. I mean, this is the same group that turned down us being a sanctuary city at one time, I think. So I don't know. This is pretty scary. I don't know.
I just wanted to bring that up, Tom. I think it's so ironic that our society screams for civil litigation, and yet they, on the other hand, in the same breath and same sentence, say that we don't have any civil rights. Well, I don't know where to go with it, but it sounds like another weak argument to create unequal opportunity throughout the system.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway,
a lot of it has to do with what they call projection, because the Democratic Party is a party of slavery, Jim Crow laws, segregation, racism. So they have to project it on somebody else because they're guilty of it. So that's what this is about.
It's funny that you bring that up, Shane. I had a conversation with a friend when I was living in Texas, and he was a mixed race. He was half black, half Korean. And we were having a discussion about slavery and where it started and how it happened. And this friend was 100% convinced that in the 1800s, sometime around Lincoln, it was, and literally, I couldn't get over this. It still stuns me to this day. The parties just flipped, literally just flipped. And the Republicans became the party of racism and Jim Crow and everything else, and the Democrats were, and no matter how much I showed this guy that he was historically severely inaccurate, he was convinced, and this was just prior to Obama. This was 2007, so he was 100% convinced, and he still is to this day, that the Republicans are the racist party historically, and that really opened my eyes. You
Yeah.
can't fix
I know.
stupid.
I know. It's incredible. It's
It's
I mean,
incredible.
that's why we don't. Tom and I have talked about it. We don't understand why American Jewish population and the African American population supports the Democrats. It's just, to us, it's a oxymoron for us.
I was going to say the first senators and congressmen after Reconstruction were all black Republicans.
Republican.
Even
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was at one time.
Yep.
I mean, come on. What do you need? What do you need here, folks? What's the story?
We all know what the answer is, though. The problem.
Yeah.
It's the education system.
Amen to that. Well,
Hands down.
yeah. No, you're
These kids
absolutely
are-
right there. Yeah.
So until
You know,
we
it's
fix
like- it's
that,
like
our
this
society's going to...
This Biden thing, Tom and I were talking about before the show. We've been talking about this for 2 years. Really?
I know. All right, I gotta go. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Have a great day.
All right, take care. Thank you. All right, I've got football tickets to give away. I got 2 tickets I got to give away on the phone, and you have till 9 o'clock to get in the app chat contest. So if you don't win on the phone, you can still win on the app chat by 9 o'clock. Go to AM 1450 KMMS app, click on the app chat button next to the listen button, and text us the words field goal, and you will be in the drawing for 9 o'clock. We're going to give those away. So give me a call, 522-TALK, 522-8255. I'll take the third caller. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, 49 degrees outside, Shane. And boy, the police got the okay to sell stuff, sell the unclaimed stuff from the city commission that turned down the women's Bill of Rights, but you can sell crap. Whatever crap the city has, that can be sold. So let's take some phone calls. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, good morning there, Tom and Shane.
Hey, Pete. What's
I
up?
wondered- Well, did you watch any of the climate disaster?
Sure, of course. Can't help yourself.
Well,
Yeah, I know, it was everywhere, wasn't it?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I think we're going after these guys, we're going in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Instead of arguing whether it's warming or not,
Yeah.
I went to look and see, what's the solution? How
Yeah.
do we stop this evil global warming? Well, it just so happens that Bill Gates and another foundation, the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation of Nazi fame, along with Harvard University, they have a plan. It's called Soapbox. And Soapbox, what that will do is they will use atmospheric aerosol injection to dim the sun.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
And not like they're not already doing that. And sequestration of CO2. They're working on a machine that sucks CO2 out of the atmosphere.
All right.
So no sun, no CO2, no food. They'll sell a farm and sell your solar panels because they ain't going to be worth much once these guys get going.
Sounds like utopia.
Yes, it is utopia, but I think the university people, they came up with a different name for the program. Their program is called Stratospheric Controlled Perturbation Experiment.
Oh.
I love it. That's great.
And that translates to population control, as far as I can figure. But these people, I didn't hear anybody say, well, what about San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, L.A., New York City? These are not environmental disasters? These Democrat assholes?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing to listen to these people. And between they had that gal from Switzerland or Sweden there. I don't know how old she is. Not very old,
Yeah.
They're just scaring the hell out of everybody. Between the parents of these kids and the media,
Yeah.
they're the terrorists. right? These kids thinking, I heard one of them said, well, we only got 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Another one said 7. And I'm thinking, it means pretty soon it's going to be like tomorrow.
Well, I know. I don't know why Town Square's trying to hire somebody to take my place. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean,
Yeah, for a little bit of time.
guy's gonna either Yellowstone is gonna blow, or this climate change is gonna take us all out. I mean,
Right.
we're done. What's the problem?
You'd think they'd just stick with you, and
Well, you think so, wouldn't you?
save the training and everything else.
You think, hey, Pete, you think we'll beat the dinosaurs? They were around for 600 million years.
Yeah, maybe we could do that.
Well, there was no climate change going on then, Shane.
Well, that's true.
Oh,
yeah.
of course not. Of course
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
The volcanoes were quiet. There was
Yeah.
no meteors. There was none of that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
and dinosaur gas ate CO2, so that's
Yeah.
Right.
that's what happens.
That's exactly what happened. And I'm wondering, you guys were talking about oil the other day,
Yeah,
whether or not it came from dinosaurs or anything.
yeah.
Weren't they just talking about abiotic oil, that they'll go back to some of these wells that they'd pumped dry and there'd be more oil in them?
Yeah, they always come back. Yeah.
Well, but you only recover 20% at the most from any well that you drill. I mean,
Yeah.
there's 80% of all the oil ever discovered is still in the ground.
Yeah. So.
Well, let's get it out.
Well, yeah.
Well, they can't. No ground hole pressure. They've tried to come up with secondary and tertiary and water flooding, all kinds of ideas to do it, but
I just think it's going to be interesting to see what's going to grow with no CO2 and
Yeah.
cut your sunshine by a third or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering how many of these climate change marchers planted a tree along the way.
Well, there's
a
no
bush
point
or
planting
something.
a tree.
A
Yeah,
bush
No point
exactly.
planting a tree. They're going to kill it.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah. I
So
hear you.
let's kill the trees.
All right, man. Thanks for
have
the
a good
call.
one, guys.
All right, take it easy. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Okay, before your previous caller, you said the city is selling stuff. Are they selling the urban assault vehicle or Bearcat?
Well, I don't know if that's what they're selling is unclaimed crap. So if you don't claim the Bearcat, I guess maybe it's for sale. I don't know. But you got to admit, we have
people who wouldn't claim. But
yeah. Well, you've got to admit we have not had a single riot in Bozeman since we've got the Bearcat.
And if you want to come up with a new idea, there are warehouses all over your country full of stuff the TSA has taken from people,
Yeah.
and it's all in storage. And there's like millions and millions of tons of stuff, knives and
Oh, yeah.
all the things
all that
that you,
stuff,
you all that stuff you can't carry, finger clippers and
yeah.
all the stuff you can't take on a plane.
Yeah, they got
they're
all
out
this. They got all this unclaimed property. I'm not sure where it comes from. I don't know if people turn stuff in. I found this on the street, so here it is, or what. But anyway, let's see.
so it's not the Bearcat. Dang.
Apparently not.
Oh,
Yeah.
What a
Do they have a
disappointment.
list?
Yeah.
They have a list
Well, I guess they do. Let's see. There's an unclaimed property tab on the Bozeman Police website, so I guess you can go over there. Just do a search for Bozeman Police website, and they've got an unclaimed property tab there, so you can see what they've got, see what they're allowed to sell, donate, or trash. I guess.
I bet it's a bunch of rusty bicycles.
I would guess that's probably right. They don't include guns or anything that's illegal or worth less than $20. So you better take at least $21 down there if you're gonna buy something.
Oh, that's pathetic.
I know. I don't know.
Well, thank you.
Good luck. We'll have to maybe during the break at the top of the hour here, we'll check out the website and we'll see what they got over there.
Well, thank you for the public service.
All right. Hey, that's why we're here. We're here to help you.
All right.
Although we're not the government, but we're here to help. Here to help you. All right, we got to take a quick break. We're back in 90 seconds. 14 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, 49 degrees outside. And Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing on the line. And Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. Hey, don't forget, you got till 9 o'clock to win tickets to this Saturday's game against Northern Arizona. It's Military Appreciation Day. And all you got to do is get on the KMMS AM 1450 KMMS app and text the words field goal to us. Field goal, FIELDGOAL, and you'll be entered. We are going to close the voting or the entries at 9 o'clock. So you got a little over an hour to get in the drawing, and we will pick a winner, and you'll be sitting in the Bobcat Stadium watching the Bobcats throttle Northern Arizona.
Yeah, go Cats.
Beat them like common pygmies. Send them on their way.
Eagle Man, you're too much, baby. I love it.
Right.
It's got to be Friday.
It's got to be Friday. Yeah, it's our Friday. We'll not be here tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. We're going to be gone on assignment, as they say in the business. Shane and I are going to do some stuff. So we will be back on Monday the 30th. And I don't know, they'll probably hire somebody between now and then. So who knows? Anyway, so you'll be treated to quality entertainment. And if the quality entertainment isn't up to our high standards, then, of course, you can go to KMMSAM.com, click on Tom and Shane's podcast, and you have your choice of 230-plus shows to listen to commercial-free, by the way. So, hey, you're not out of the, we're still with you. So
there you go.
Yeah. In fact, we're up to 1,581 downloads of our 236 shows. So you've got plenty of shows over there to listen to. If you missed any of them, by all means, check it out. And there's a description of what we did. 1,581 so far. So we're pretty close to coming up on 1,600. We hope to have 2,000 by our 1 year anniversary, which will be the 27th of November. So we hope to get another couple thousand by then, or 500 at least by then. So, So yeah, should be that would be doable, I think, and it'd be a nice milestone to show the bean counters.
That's right, huge, baby.
Yep. All right. What else are we talking about here, Shane? Let's see. Gosh, we got all kinds of things here. We talked about the city. There are plans to another subdivision, Shane, plans to expand for South Bozeman, and we've got to do that. So Bozeman commissioners allowed a developer to trade land once reserved for a park. Wow. No more parks in Bozeman. I guess with the park maintenance fee coming up, they decided, we could do without one more park. So anyway, this was reserved for a park, but they're going to make it into housing, and it's going to be a 49-acre subdivision. 49 acres. An acre, in case you want to know, is the football field without the end zones. That's about an acre. So we're looking at 49 football fields of subdivision in South Bozeman. And they approved preliminary plat changes to the major subdivision known as Grand Silo. Of course, why not?
Exactly.
Let's give it a Spanish name, why don't we? We got to have some place for the illegals to live.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, it's set for land off South 19th at the corner of South 27th Avenue and Graff Street. So if you want to know where it's going to be, so that you can stake your claim on one of the 49 acres there, by all means, check it out. They approved the project's preliminary plat last year, since developers scratched plans for less than 2-acre park in exchange for the chance to build more housing. So Chris Badesky and Madison Engineering spoke for the project's owner, Bozeman Haas LLC, on Monday. And Badesky said that as many as 40 apartment units could fit on the site, although housing plans for the land haven't been filed with the city as of yet. So in exchange, the developer plans to put an additional $1.5 million of work into the subdivision core park, which is roughly 4 acres. That's beyond the city's required $210,000 to opt out of creating the second park. Wow. I don't know what these guys are thinking with these parks. It drives me nuts, man. It just drives me nuts.
They want places for people to have quiet spaces and enjoy their time with their children and dogs.
Yeah, I don't know. Scares me to death.
Well, it just, you live in the middle of the wilderness already. I don't know why you need to create a park. I mean, I understand like toys, the jungle gyms and stuff they put up around schoolyards and things like that.
Yeah.
But, seems to me if you want to take your kid to exercise on that kind of a instrument, you take them to a school with a schoolyard toy, right? If you're going to go for a walk you just 5 minutes outside of town, you're in the wilderness. Go for a walk in the park.
That's what we did when we were kids. We'd go to the nearest grade school or high school or wherever where there's a ball field, and we'd set up, or we played basketball at the school playgrounds or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's what they're there for.
Yeah, no, that's what you did. There wouldn't have been a basketball goal or maybe enough room in a small park. You'd be hitting baseballs through people's windows. So that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Let's take a phone call, then we got to take a quick break. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
This is Clint.
Hey, Clint.
Good morning, good sir.
Good morning there, Shane. Well, I got something to say about this development.
Yeah.
It's happening out at my place.
Yep.
They only got room for 400,000 gallons more of water, and then they have to go to the Gallatin River for their sewer. But anyway, the West Gallatin. But anyway, what I want to say is they better put a moratorium on this building because we do not have the water. I think there's some of the commissioners have even admitted that.
Well, they're talking about this drought thing they were going to come up with, this drought extra fee they're going to charge you for a drought that may or may not ever happen.
That's right. Well, you got the global warming, you must remember.
A drought's inevitable. I mean,
it isn't going to snow so much, and we're not going to get so much rain.
Of course not. Yeah, we didn't this year. I mean, it hardly rained at all this year.
Well, yes. And so anyway, I'm just saying the big thing here is how much water. We don't have the water. If you start pumping it out of the ground, it's got to be replenished. Yeah. And if you have global warming, how the hell are you going to replenish it if you don't get any snow?
Well, you can't, and you can't collect rainwater any longer either. That's against the law in most places in America.
Oregon, you can't catch it.
Yeah, I know. There's several states that won't let you catch and recycle rainwater. I mean, come on.
Well, all these people that are moving here, what they say, 10 a day is coming into the
10 a day, yep.
Now, what's that say to everybody?
It says we're growing.
It says we're growing, but do we have the infrastructure and the management to cope with it?
Well, we hope we will as we go. You build as you go. I don't know.
They tell me you can ride across the upper part of Hyalite Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son did it.
Wow.
How about that?
There you go.
And down below, before you go into Hyalite, there's a big pond and a ranch there. That's where the water comes from. That's piped from the creek into that pond and then into the city. But there's only so much water.
Yep. Well, that's what Jeff says, that we need to start doing something. But I got to go, Clint.
Okay,
I'm up against the clock. Sorry.
I just wanted to mention that. It's all about the water.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right. We're back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 24th. Mike McCormick is going to join us at 8 o'clock. He is getting himself together, I guess I should say. He brought CDs and food and all kinds of stuff in, so he's ready to rock and roll when we come back. Hey, don't forget, you've only got an hour to win tickets to the ball game this Saturday against Northern Arizona. It's Military Appreciation Day. You got to go to AM 1450 KMMS app, and the app chat button is right next to the listen button, and all you got to do is text field goal to us. Field goal. That'll put you in the drawing, and we'll do that after 9 o'clock. But the entries are going to close at 9 o'clock today because Shane and I will not be here Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of this week. So by all means, get your entries in now, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to Saturday's game at the Bobcat Stadium. And we hope you are victorious in doing that. And thanks for listening. We'll be back. Mike McCormick is in the house. Jeff Krause is away on business and will be back with us next week. But Mike has graciously going to sit in today because, well, Mike's not going to be on his regular time because we're not going to be here. So Mike's here, and Shane's here, Tom's here, and we'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned. And the aforementioned Mike McCormick is in the house. Thank you very much.
Good morning,
good
Tom.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we're a little bit of extra innings on summer, and they say that might stop soon. So
yeah.
So hope everybody got a chance to enjoy it.
We're gonna have a high in the 30s by next weekend, I think, something like that. So
right on schedule. Right on schedule. Gonna get my sprinklers blown out.
Yeah.
Got to trim a few things back, but I just as soon say goodbye to yard work. I had enough of that.
Me too. I will tell you, I no problem there. Let's take a phone call. We got a caller patiently waiting. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane and Mike McCormick. What's up?
Hey, Tom, it's Mayor.
Hey, hi, Mayor.
Hey, I don't have a question for Mike. I just wanted to correct you on the subdivision. The correct pronunciation would be Gran Cielo.
Oh, okay.
Which means big sky. However, they're doing it. It should be Cielo Grande.
Right.
You're going to do it right.
That's. I figured I was probably pronouncing that incorrectly. So thanks for the clarification. So.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, nobody else. It's like
get our Spanish right?
Right. Well, it's like, is it Mar or Meager?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. But
absolutely none.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Mayor. Thanks very much.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Mike McCormick in the house. Shane Madabin on the line. Money and...
we could talk about money for sure.
Well, the markets.
Good morning, Michael.
Hey, Shane. Top of the morning to you, my friend.
Well, the markets opened up barely, 58 points or so, but above 27 still. Gold is went down some, but it's still over 1,500.
So what's happening, it seems, is we're waiting for good news to take us higher.
Yep.
We've gotten through some of the bad news things. We're waiting for good news to take us higher, and the housing market is one place that we could start and talk about because gains in the housing market nationally, I'm not talking locally. Locally, we know what the housing market's done.
Right.
It's stratospheric. But nationally, for the past 12 months, housing's only gone up by about 1.3%, according to the recent Case-Shiller Home Price Index for the big cities. These are cities that had big gains already, and it's cooling off, but not going down, and we kind of like to see that. If we let time happen, then we can sort of readjust, reposition. Valuations don't seem as spicy. You kind of get used to what's going on. You're like, okay, well, now I'm sitting on more cash than I was before. Let's go ahead and invest in real estate. Let's go ahead and invest in stocks. I am a glass half full kind of guy. We've got third quarter earnings that we're just going to be coming out, and they're going to be not great. There's going to be, that's not great. Ooh, that one's not great either. But they're not going to be bad. FedEx had some bad stuff happening, but that had to do a bit with the corporation's choices that they made, some bad investments, and of course, there's concerns about
Amazon too.
Well, right. They're it's one of those tricky things,
It was
right?
a bad choice, I think.
Well, and
I
we're
don't
seeing
know.
Amazon and Costco play the same card where
Right,
they
yeah.
try and get the best services and best products. They try and learn that
I'm
business, and then
surprised
they kick them out and do it themselves.
I'm surprised Amazon hasn't bought either UPS or, one of the other companies.
Sure,
UPS, FedEx,
or like a DHL or something that's on
DHL, was
on
what
the
I was-
ropes, you know.
Yeah, that was the other one I was thinking about.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's above my pay grade. Maybe Shane's got comments on that, but strategic acquisitions, I think that they like what they're doing so much. Maybe that I don't know. Transportation's got to be a different headache, but they're the leader in logistics. There's no doubt about that.
yeah.
So in terms of housing, it's interesting to watch because this is an illiquid asset, meaning that it takes a while to sell.
Yeah.
And also sometimes you can't sell it. As I learned, as a lot of the people listening learned, that illiquidity means that when things are scary, there's no price that you can get for your asset. It might have value to you. It might have value that you can see it happening on paper. Your CPA might tell you it's worth something.
Right.
But you cannot exchange that at this time. The market is closed effectively. And so what we're seeing now is people have muscle memory from those experiences, and people are sitting on the highest level of home equity that they ever have. People have the majority of their assets are in their personal home, which has always been true, but not to this level of extreme. You were seeing baby boomers working to pay off their mortgages, even though rates are super, super low. That's actually my strategy right now, too. One of the places that I'm storing excess cash is in my house because I think that it'd be nice to have some availability to take opportunity, availability to pay different ways for college for my kids. And I can use my house as an effective bank, knowing that I'm getting a guaranteed rate of return right now. When I pay that debt off, it's not a big mortgage rate that I'm at, but it is a guaranteed rate of return. So when people come in and they have extra money, before you look at taking risk, especially if you're risk averse, especially if you're somebody that says, I'm kind of getting on. I don't really feel like trying to, gamble and see if Apple's going to come out with a new product or not. There are ways that people can invest by paying down debt.
Yeah, I'd agree. One of the things that the national news always points out is the debt per citizen, the debt per taxpayer. But they never talk about what you just talked about, the assets per citizen. And the assets per citizen in the U.S., $443,392 is the assets per citizen. And most of that, as you pointed out, is probably in their personal home.
Well, for the normal people, yes. That statistic is an average, which is including, we're lumped in with Warren Buffett and his friends there. So there's a bit of a skew.
Well, yeah, sort of, I guess.
JP Morgan, I like to see their quarterly stuff. Anybody actually can access JP Morgan's quarterly reports. You type in JP Morgan Guide to the Markets and something will come up. They do a great job of research. They are economists, and this is something else I can talk about is economists versus stock pickers, which usually the economists are right if you count lifetimes, but the stock pickers are right if we actually keep score.
Right.
Now, when we're looking on timeframes like that, housing as a percentage of individual net worth is definitely the highest. Other areas that I like to point out that are high net worth personal sources of wealth are your 401k and whole life insurance. And these are the three areas that represent the majority of people's net worth. It's not in their savings. It's not in their collectibles. It's not in cash. It's not even in their whatever, their collectibles. And the reason why is because these three things, home equity, whole life insurance, and 401ks, are automatic contributions. If you have a whole life policy, there's probably an automatic draw that's coming out of your account. If you have a 401k, hopefully you do. There's an automatic contribution that comes out of your payroll. And your mortgage, well, that should be automated too. And so those three things, automatic. If you want to save more money, what's the lesson here? Make it automatic.
Yeah, that's what I do. Most everything is, we just set it up as an automatic payment. We do that with the electricity, the cable, the credit cards, the whole 9 yards.
Make the math easy.
Yeah, it works out really well.
Now, if you're a small business owner, automatic sometimes can bite you. I had to automatically pay my quarterly estimates the other day.
Yeah.
That was automatic paying is what that was.
That's what.
Quarterly.
That's true. That's what you got to do. Yeah.
And if you own your own,
I set mine off too.
if you own your own real estate, property taxes in the city are the real deal, and that's not automatic. You need to cough up $5,000 to $10,000 twice a year, depending on what you own. That is, these are things that thwart the small business owner from being able to plan.
Right.
And right now we're coming up on, forgive me, I call it the deadbeat tax deadline, because this is, if you extended, people think taxes are due April.
Yeah.
Well, not if you ask for an extension.
And almost no one doesn't get it.
You can get a 6-month extension and file in October.
Yeah.
Now, corporations, if you have an LLC or an S Corp or whatever, they're due the month before. So they're due in March or April. And then you extend, well, you can get that to September and October.
Yeah.
Why would you want to extend? Well, there are cases when you would want to extend. For example, if you have a retirement plan like a Sept, you are able to make contributions all the way back to 2018 right now, even though we're sort of on the back half of 2019 right now.
Right, yeah.
So you can see all your money coming in, all your money going out. You can see how the year's gone. You can do some effective tax planning that way, certainly.
Yeah.
So long as you paid your estimates on time, meaning that, you didn't take any money away from the IRS's expectations.
Right.
There's no penalty for doing this.
Yeah.
So there's strategic reasons for going ahead and extending. But unfortunately, a lot of people do it just out of inertia, who wants to pay taxes. And then there might be some penalties. So I do recommend you consult with your tax advisor. Not now, they're swamped, but get out there at a good time and say.
Well, there is some interest in things that keep going between April and October if you don't pay, because otherwise everybody would just wait. Yeah, I mean, there are some penalties attached to that.
Not necessarily. If you plan ahead, Tom, you can avoid any penalties and file an extension and still be net out the same amount of money you would. But it takes proactive planning with your tax advisor to do that effectively.
Right. Well, it would. The other thing, too, to think about is that there are certain things that you can do between December 31st and April 15th that you can't do past April 15th, like your IRA.
Some retirement plans.
Some retirement plans you can add to, clear up to April 15th.
And some you can add up to the extension, but some you can't. And
that's what I'm saying. You need to be really careful if you think you're going to do that, because otherwise
you're going to... duck soup of Sept, simple, IRA, 403B, blah, 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 blah.
You're going to get a surprise in October.
We don't want anybody to crash their car.
No.
Hey, one thing I did want, do you want to take a break before I get on to 1031s?
I do, yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll talk about 1032s.
No. 1031, it's a tax-deferred real estate exchange.
Well, that's what I thought. But
we can go into 1032s maybe. I don't know what that would be. I'll look that up.
Yeah, I have no clue what a 1032 is. I'm sure it's a Canadian. It's metric. All right. We'll be right back right after this. Hang on. All right, we're back. Yeah, I forgot to put music in there. That's all right. I'm still being trained. It's only been 10 months.
I'm distracting.
Mike is distracting.
I'm not wearing a prom dress, but I'm distracting.
He's distracting as heck. All right, 1031s. What do we need to know about 1031s?
1031s. Yeah. Well, it is a provision in the tax code.
Of course.
And what it means is that if you own a piece of real estate and you want to own a different piece of real estate, there's a way to transfer the value from one to the other without paying taxes on the gain. So these days, most people have gains on their real estate. Most people, even if you bought it at the top of the market before the crash, you have a gain in your real estate. Real estate has done extremely well. So if you put $200,000 into a rental property, let's say you bought it at the perfect time, and now it would be worth, probably $500,000. I mean, it's close to 1.5, I think, of what we've been seeing, but it's fun, easy math that way. There's a $300,000 gain if you were to sell it to ring the register. Say you don't want to manage a rental anymore. I identify with that. I have had plenty. I don't want any more toilets or dirty carpets I got to replace. So you want out. Okay. Well, you're going to have to pay a $300,000 tax bill as a gain. This is not income. Capital gains rates are a bit different. But when you're at that level, you get certain accelerators and whatnot. And I'm not a tax advisor, but you can count on paying about a quarter of that, if not more, in taxes. So a quarter of $300,000. Well, that's a lot. We'll just say that, right? You want more of that to stay in your pocket. 1031 allows you to move that into a like kind exchange is what it's called. Something that's like that. Well, it's pretty loose on what's like that. If it's real estate, generally it's like that. If it's not real estate, it's not like it. So people, let's say you had a non-cash producing income asset. You had some land. Maybe you were going to build a dream home on a 10-acre parcel. You got it for a really low price, and now it's worth a lot. Now the taxes are also worth a lot. Maybe you're in retirement now, and you want some income. You don't want to keep having to pay the taxes and pay to mow this thing. If it's a subdivision lot, you got to pay HOA dues. You're not really getting the value out of it. Yeah, it went up a lot. Good move. Well, you can sell it and use the proceeds and move those into an income-producing piece of real estate, say a single-family home that's producing rental income. Or if it's a bigger lump of money, you could get a fourplex or even bigger, or you could get a commercial condo or a commercial shop, something where you're getting that rental money coming into you once a month, and that helps offset the expenses. It turns it into a very different kind of asset, one that you can retire on. Now, you do that using specialists. You do that by first consulting with your accountant. They'll refer you to somebody that'll help you do the legal work. Your attorney will get involved in this as well. You can expect an additional cost of $5,000 is what I'm told. I'm sure that some can be more expensive. I think that you shouldn't plan on it being less. That means you've got a $5,000 hurdle to avoid in terms of not paying capital gains taxes to make it a value. Look into it. The real rub is that there's a timing requirement. You have a certain amount of time where you need to sell this asset and buy the other asset. And boy, I just let off with a liquidity problem in real estate. Best laid plans don't always work out in real estate, so you have to really have your ducks in a row for this. But 1031 is a common move that real estate investors are doing to diversify. You know, let's say that's your single piece. You're like, oh my gosh, everything depends on the Bozeman market. You can go ahead and go buy a fourplex down in, New Mexico. You could get into something that you might someday choose to use as a vacation home. Like kind now would not be a primary residence. Again, you got to check with the experts for all these rules. I'm not that person, but it's a great tool that people can use to take advantage of where we are on the real estate market today. We've had huge gains. Yeah, sure, they might go up, but if you're getting to be where you were looking at retirement saying, I would love to be getting $1,000 a month in addition to my Social Security. Mm-hmm. I've got this piece of land that's not doing anything. Sure, it's what I believe in. Maybe I don't like to listen to Mike on the radio. I don't believe in stocks. I just only believe in real estate. These are the moves that you can make to really get there.
Yeah. No, I think it's something you do need to do your homework on it, though.
Yeah, it's not a do-it-yourself kind of thing.
It really isn't. Yeah, you need to.
Because when you make a mistake and then you owe all the taxes in full, then everybody loses.
Yep, it's not a pretty picture if you don't do it correctly. It's
right.
It's like anything else with money. You do it wrong, and the tax man is waiting for you to make that mistake. So.
Yeah. It's it's about getting positive reinforcement. I talk about investing, how you got to set yourself up for success. Mm-hmm. I did also allude earlier to another topic that I think is interesting is I listen to two news sources for business news. I listen to Bloomberg and I listen to CNBC, two popular shows. They've got great commentators on there. You can get great information out of them. They're very, very different, and they represent two fundamental different sides of looking at money, really, I think. The CNBC side is the Jim Cramer side. That's the stock picking. Mm-hmm. They've got option traders. They got the show Fast Money on there. They've got commentators that are down on the pit, and they'll be like, Rick's on telly. It's going crazy down here. You got to buy now. Right? Now, there's good information in there.
Yeah.
It's usually a bit more sensational and timely in terms of action now. Yes, no, quick buck. Let's forget that bad call I made. We'll get onto this new one you got to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And then the Bloomberg side of things, they're all very civilized. There's a lot of British accents on that side of the channel, which is always comical, right? If I had a British accent, I would be so much more credible.
You'd be more credible, absolutely. Yeah, any accent you have, you're except for Southern. You can't.
If I was a female Ukrainian, I would probably knock it out of the park. I think
you ain't gonna get no credibility selling timeshares.
Oh my, you can trust me. Come on down. Bloomberg's all economists, which is what I'm trained as. And it's a fascinating theoretical. It all makes sense in theory, and then none of the theories really work out generally. So, you mix the two together, what do you get? You get some level of comfort, But I do also subscribe to a few other news sources. I've got Kiplinger's Investing for Income Strategies in front of me. Kiplinger's has been around for a long time. They're sort of tax focused. It's similar to an AARP idea where there's this group of people that want you to think that they're lobbying for you and in it for you, and then you get these marketing things every time you turn around.
Right,
Like,
yeah, I know.
Wait a minute.
I didn't sign up for that.
Right. Well, how did they get my email here?
Yeah,
What's going
right.
on?
Yeah.
But they're pointing out in Kiplinger's today, they had a good back page I'm looking at. We talk about this a lot. How much can you get on your cash? Bonds are really risky right now.
Yeah.
And they have been, and they continue to go up. And I'm leery to get people going on bonds. I always say go into your short-term cash, short-term bonds, short-term money market CDs, so on. They found an online savings account, VO Bank, never heard of it, 2.52% savings, a savings rate.
Wow.
Now, this is a bank that's going to have some level of consumer protection. Buy your caveat emptor, do your own research, but it's probably able to get not FDIC because it's not a CD, but some sort of, banking security. And I should know that off the top of my head. I apologize. But you can also get in the Fidelity floating rate high income rate. This is a 5.5% yielder. High rate of income right there. Careful. Yeah. Careful when you reach for these high income earners. And then lastly, the CD. They found a 1-year CD. This is FDIC protected. It's through Comenity Direct. Now, who that is, I don't know. Is that risky? If it's got FDIC on it, it's not necessarily any riskier than anything else, other than you might get your money back sooner. 2.86% on a 1-year CD. You got a minimum buy-in of $7,500, but that is something to think about if you're a conservative investor right now, because I'm not sure if inflation is going to be 2.86%. You're going to beat it without taking any risk. That's a smart money move, typically.
I would say you'd be the worst case scenario, you might break even. I mean that.
Well, right. With inflation, when you're going short-term cash, you're saying, I'm trying to just break even. I'm trying not to lose to inflation.
Yeah. Because even with the tariffs, inflation doesn't seem to be an issue. It hasn't changed at all.
Currently not happening.
Yeah. All right. We got to talk about Fox News and Montana State News and Brooke Foster Weather, Radio Shack, and Bill O'Reilly.
That's a full lineup.
You don't get this on the other shows, man. All right. We'll be right back with Mike McCormick, McCormick Financial Advisors, right after these important words. Stay tuned. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. Mike McCormick, McCormick Financial Advisors in the house. Shaman Taubman, half man, half amazing, on the line, being uncharacteristically silent today.
I'm listening to Mike. I always learn listening to Mike.
Right. I know.
And occasionally not off, but that's okay. We all tag team.
We all want to be like Mike, don't we?
Jeez.
From our text line, 478-8298. If you aren't feeling tariffs, they aren't working. The whole point of tariffs is to discourage consumers from buying tariffed products in favor of domestic products. Well, that's a pretty simplified answer, I would think. In most cases, companies like Walmart and Amazon and all these other places are cutting deals with suppliers.
They are.
You're gonna take half this tariff. I'm gonna eat the other half, and we're gonna not raise prices.
And allow a free market to work where, yes, an alternative might appear that's less expensive, right?
True. Yeah,
but it might not appear from.
Maybe I'm getting it from Vietnam,
Exactly.
and it looks exactly like the one I was getting from China.
The goal might be to reinvigorate U.S. production to accommodate that. Mm-hmm. But unless we tariff all imports to a certain level, this is really targeted towards. We all understand this is targeted towards trying to get China to negotiate.
Sure.
Is it working?
Well, they're supposed to meet this week.
Right. So. The proof's in the pudding,
And they just committed to 600 tons or 600,000 tons of soybean, Shane, I think.
Yep.
Is that right?
Well, but they made that promise before and didn't do it. So.
Well, yeah.
Tom and I were looking up the lean hog futures while we were on break, because China has a swine flu problem that's hugely decimating their hog herds. Now,
it is. Yeah.
It's not just at the Chinese restaurants. Apparently, in the country, they eat a lot of pork also. A lot of pork. It's their main protein source, I believe, is what I've read.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And
half their wines stock. They have 400 million herd, and half of it's been wiped out. Yeah,
Half of it's been wiped out. So back to the economist versus the stock picker. The economist to me says, okay, we've got a high level of consumption and demand stays the same. Well, we've got a supply that went down. Prices should go up. I'm looking at lean hog futures. They're as low as they've ever been.
Yeah.
And it's this conundrum that Tom and I just alluded to before the last break, is that inflation is not showing up. It's a weird thing. If you have the same amount of right now, we have more people than we've ever had.
Yeah.
In the U.S., these people right now have more money than they've ever had. There should be a demand feature that's increasing prices. Maybe it's monetary supply. Maybe it's the easy Fed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's these global fears. Maybe it's that the other countries, Eurozone and so on, are so poor off that we can keep inflation in check by getting cheap goods and services in different areas. I don't know. Good stuff.
Well, the other thing, too, is that there's a tariff on American pork to China, and they're importing our pigs and paying the tariff to us for the pigs. So.
Win-win.
Yeah, they own Smith and Industries, which the Obama administration allowed to be sold to them. It was the largest pork processor in the United States.
Yeah, so that's where they're getting their pork at the moment, I guess. Maybe that's why prices aren't fluctuating, because the finished product goes to them.
And the most rewarding product is bacon. So the rest of the pig is cheap.
All right. Let's see if one of our callers is making bacon. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane and Mike McCormick. What's up?
I am out here trying to make bacon, fellas.
All right, good deal.
There you go. People pay it in the form of little green bills. Savory pork product. So I think, didn't Trump get a win with his tariffs? Didn't Apple just ink a deal that would go to China to go to Texas to build computers? Because they said they didn't want to pay the tariffs back to sell the product back to America. So they're building a plant for their MacBook Pros, is what I heard, in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So there's one for a tariff working.
Yeah.
Incentivizing a company to stay home and bring its business here and pay American employees and electricians and plumbers and the people who are going to serve food. And I mean, it's a huge win, I think.
Good point.
It is indeed, yeah. And they're looking at returning their call centers to the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear anything on NPR this morning about it, or it turned into CNN and hear them talking the wonders of that. And it's funny, I didn't even hear them talk about Joe Biden threatening or saying that he got this guy fired in the Ukraine because the guy was investigating his son. It's funny how the NPR and the mainstream media just kind of passes over this stuff, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's too complicated for us to understand.
Right. Well, we've got to let those in power run everything. Yeah. Sort of like Mussolini and Stalin and Pelosi. Right.
Elizabeth Warren will make the trains run on time.
I feel better about our future already, Tom.
There you go, man. Thanks for the call. All right. We got to take a quick break. Shay, we got a caller on the line. If you'll entertain them, we'll be right back. 16 minutes for the top of the hour, Tuesday, September 24, 2019, 53 degrees outside. Hey, you've only got 15 minutes to win football tickets. You got to get field goal texted to us on the app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS app. Get it on your smartphone, and the app chat button's right next to the listen button. All you have to do is text field goal to us to be added in. The voting is going to close at 9 o'clock. So you got to get in while you can. Let's see, from our text line, will the new Apple factory in Texas have suicide nets? Probably not. Probably not.
I'm not going to touch that one.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Let's see. Walmart runs razor-thin margins. They can't eat tariffs. Well, I would tell you, if China wants to do business with Walmart, they will certainly find a way to do it.
I mean, size matters. It actually, I'm surprised that Walmart hasn't done better over the years, to tell you the truth, because they are so big and because they offer something that Amazon can't. You can go in and touch it all, and you can do one-stop shop. they have the ability in theory, and again, economics theory, that they can pass these costs on.
Yeah.
If the cost for Fritos goes up, well, it went up for everybody else too. Costco or Walmart is a big bargainer of it. They'll get the best deal out there. They'll still be the least expensive place to buy your Fritos, theoretically.
MacBook Pro in Texas sounds like fake news. All parts come from China. New iPhones are made in China. No, they're not. They're not made in China at all because Apple doesn't want China to know how they're made. So
they were, right? Foxconn.
Parts of them were. They're assembled here.
All right.
As far as I know.
I mean, it's one of those things like where's the Toyota car made? Which part?
Well, all the glass for the phones is made by Corning.
Yep.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
I believe, but MacBook Pros have been made in Texas since 2013. I have one right in front of me.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Let's see. Have you been to McDonald's lately? Combos cost $9. I don't believe government saying there's no inflation. Well, there's no inflation. Food and commodities that are sold on the world market aren't included. And as Shane will tell you this from personal experience, the stuff you throw away costs more than the burger.
That's correct.
Yeah. So
I do like this point though, because inflation at McDonald's is real. This is what the consumer is experiencing. And this commentator or this listener's absolutely correct. There is inflation in things that we buy every day.
Sure.
And I wonder if this inflation that we're seeing in McDonald's, if it's not due towards increased wages, not increased commodity costs. Because wages, especially in this town, are going through the roof. How could anybody staff a McDonald's or a Jimmy John's right now? When I went to a brew pub last night, and I had a delicious beer and a wonderful experience and nice people serving me. This person serving me needed to know one of 5 beers, and I had to get my own water.
Yeah.
And this person is making probably 10 times as much as that McDonald's person. So skill set, maybe even lower.
Yeah.
Inflation in wages is what we're going to see. And that actually helps stimulate the economy, because when it is going in the hands and pocketbooks of workers, especially workers at the lower end of the income scale, they spend it. And so this is actually a bullish sign for the economy if we're seeing costs go up because of wages at the lower end. It's going to mean that we're going to have more stimulus going on in the economy. I can't say specifically that it's due to wages versus commodity costs, but it is a great point that our listener makes that we're experiencing inflation. I mean, we're experiencing inflation in houses. We're experiencing inflation in things that we buy that affect us. Is it what the government and the Fed looks at? That's the disconnect.
Yeah. No, I think you're onto something there, because if you think about it, Perkins closed.
Yep.
Couldn't find people.
Yep.
Taco John's was closed for a while because they couldn't find people. And some of these restaurants, the Country Kitchen down in Four Corners, they're running limited hours because they can't find people. And I think there's probably a possibility here that maybe the McDonald's franchise guy is saying, okay, you're in a market. We realize what market you're in.
Right.
So
we got to pay this.
We're gonna pay this. Maybe your royalty drops a little to, let's make a deal to keep you open and keep you keep your employees there. And I think that's why this McDonald's locally shrunk the seating area and improved the drive-through with 2 lanes, because more people are coming through the drive-through than they are sitting in the booths, taking up space, in the thing. And it doesn't cost any more to pass a meal out the door than it does to sit it on the counter.
Interesting.
So
it's an interesting family that owns these local McDonald's. They come out of a family that has owned McDonald's for a long time. It'd be good to get them on the show sometime, because that is, the McDonald's economics are interesting, right?
Yeah. Well, they really are. They got the McDonald's University you go to and all that stuff, and they give you pretty good support. The one that's really interesting to me is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Do you know what a franchise costs for Chick-fil-A?
It's not cheap, is it?
$10,000.
Is that a lot for a franchise?
Well, when McDonald's, what's McDonald's? 150?
Right. I was going to say.
Yeah, 150,
right.
and you have to build the building.
Yeah. Well, where Chick-fil-A, they'll give you the franchise for $10,000. They'll build the building and give you.
Why don't you have a Chick-fil-A in town, Tom?
You've got to qualify for it. Out of 1,100 or so, or 11,000, I think they chose 86 people to own one. You've got to really have the dedication to
It's like
be
Shark
a
Tank or
Chick-fil-A
America's
guy.
Got Talent or something like that.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah,
be Mr. Chick-fil-A.
You've got to, you got to eat, drink, and live.
A bunch of friends of mine,
Chick-fil-A.
we were looking at an In-N-Out franchise opportunity a long time ago, and they didn't do anything in the past. I think they've expanded a bit.
I'd go for Chick-fil-A. I'd at least put in the app.
Never tasted my lips. I've never been to a place where I could try it.
Well, they make, what are they, number 2, Shane, after McDonald's? I think
they're extremely popular.
Yeah.
And
way fewer restaurants. I mean, they're closed on Sunday. I mean, it costs them, I think, something like $1 million every Sunday they close.
Yeah, and the regional franchise too, in that they want people to build more than one store.
Oh, right.
Well, they don't actually. They don't want you to have multiple stores. Chick-fil-A doesn't.
No,
McDonald's
not
does. Yeah, McDonald's does. But Chick-fil-A, you're a one owner. Let's
do a franchise show. I can bone up on this.
Let's do that. We'll do a franchise show. Yeah. Well,
because there's a lot of this town that's growing.
They succeed.
We could do with every franchise that's out there the size that this town's growing to. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. What do you need? How do you get into it? That'd be a good show.
Absolutely. All right, we got to get the Rush update in here, and Northwestern Ford dealers want to talk to you, and of course, Babel. We couldn't go through a morning without Babel.
I feel like been doing that, haven't we? Thanks so much for the questions. I love getting on different time slot. Thanks for the listeners making the show great.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll be right back. 3 minutes before the top of the hour. The good news is the show's almost over. The bad news is the show's almost over. So
that's bad news.
Mike McCormick Financial Advisors in the house, and we need to do a franchise sometime on these franchises.
We covered some good stuff today, though, with the 1031 exchanges, a little bit of real estate touching on things. Mm-hmm. We stayed away from the boring stuff like the Fed and interest rates and that stuff, so I always like doing that. But appreciate the comments and questions, and it is a tricky time. Give everybody cut yourself some slack. You're doing great. It's not easy. It's not easy to keep up with the Joneses in this town, and it's not easy to make good decisions with your money. There's a lot of great financial advisors in town. I like to say start with a good accountant.
Yep.
That's really the meat of the matter, if you ask me.
Well, I agree. An accountant will put you on the right track as to where where the dangers are, where the red flags are, where the speed bumps are, and all that.
Well, and they're conservative. They're the buffer that says, if they're uncomfortable with something, you should pay attention.
Yeah.
Now, you got to take risks to make money.
True.
Accountants are in the business of not taking risks.
That's right.
They're like bankers. Their job is.
But they can tell you how much income you could risk without hurting yourself.
And they've seen how things play out in this town. So don't call them now. They're real busy with some deadline stuff. But next month they'll be ready for your call.
Yeah, I'll get them after October 15th. Because they're, this is a busy time. Yep. They got 2 busy times here, I guess.
They got it. It's nonstop for them. So, love to hug an accountant today.
Yeah.
And I'll be back, next week? What's my new slot? Thursday, 7 a.m.
Thursday at 7, yeah.
Okay. We like to keep everybody on their toes.
I know, yeah. Hopefully we can keep you at Thursday now. We've had all these things going on, obviously.
Got to be flexible.
Yeah, okay.
Change is the only constant.
Right. Shane is ready to go. So say goodbye, Shane.
Goodbye, Mayor. Thanks, Mike. Have a great week while we're away. We'll talk to everybody next Monday, the 30th. Be happy, be safe, and God bless to everyone.
All right. We will be back. All right. Thanks, Mike, for being here. Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure.
As always, good to see you, and we'll see you next Thursday. And Shane and I will not be here Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We're going to be on assignment, as they say, in the business. So.
The lifestyles of the rich and famous.
The rich and
there.
famous, we'll be out doing something. So.
Or at least famous.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for the texts and the phone calls and everything. And you still got a minute to get in the app chat for the tickets. 9 o'clock, we're going to close it down. And so don't forget to app chat us field goal. Text us field goal on the app chat line, and you'll be in the drawing. But you got to do it in the next 30 seconds. So we'll be back to, well, Shane and I'll be back on Monday. So we'll see you then.